Hello everyone. So today we will go over with the first step, that is to sign up for Azure services. So just go to Google and just type Azure free trial. So Microsoft will give you a $200 free trial as a part of that credit. Okay. As you guys notice, you will receive a $200 so that you can use the Azure credit for your cloud computing, your virtual machines, your website, your cloud services, your mobile services, and all that, right? You can also use the price calculator, and that will tell you the approximate price, right, for the each of the Azure resources, right? Um, so you can cancel this subscription at any time as well, right? And let's just get started. So we will activate the free trial with the Microsoft Azure. So click on activate. Okay. You need to pick you should have your personal account with you, right? So just click on, you can just create a new Microsoft account if you do not have one, right? So you can also create your own Microsoft account with this. Okay, so I'm just creating the sample domain. Okay, let's just go back. You can use, so I'm just going to use my personal account that I have. So this is my personal account. You can use the outlook.edu, outlook.com, also hotmail.com, also msn.com. So either one will work fine. Okay. So let me just sign in. Remember, first it is better to have the account created so that you can easily sign in into this. I'm just going to use a different account. It just takes first a little bit longer to sign up, but once you signed up, then it should be quick enough every day. All right, so just go back again. One more time, it is best practice to have your account created before you can jump into this trial. So I'm just going to use my existing account with the Hotmail. All right. So this is currently working. I'm just gonna keep sign me in. Just log in over here. Okay. Now this is your sign up section. It's just gonna take some time. You can just continue with the current offer. So just select this particular option. Okay. This is all about the emails and everything, right? All the important information. So I can just put down you can just fill out with your organization is e-learning, or you can put anything you want. So you can just specify the country, first name, last name, email address, your phone number, and just click next. It's just gonna send you a text message, right, just to identify you, to make sure you are right person. So I'm just going to put my number and just verify it, right? So make sure you guys use your own phone number, right? Yeah. So it is still doing the verification right now. Hopefully it should be done. There you go. So now it's gonna ask me to enter the credit card information again. Please remember, this is not gonna get charged up to $200. You will not get charged for any amount. So let me just enter my credit card information, right? So give me just 1 second. Right, so give me just 1 second. You guys also should do the same thing while you set up this account. Remember, this is a required step, right? So there is no way to bypass this step. So make sure you guys always copy, always use this whatever card number, but keep track of your usage. Otherwise, you will be keep getting charged, right? So let me just put my details. All right, so I did insert all the detail. Now you are ready to have a $200 credit, right? And trial does not automatically upgrade you to the paid subscription, because the reason is you are just going to get charged for the amount you use. So even though you keep your account and you pass the $200 limit, as long as you do not create any resources in cloud, Microsoft will not charge you any money. So just select this condition and click on sign up. So it's gonna sign you in into the subscription. So it is creating your subscription right now, and there you go. So it will just take on an average like 4 minutes or so. There you go, it is ready. So just click on get started with your subscription. Okay. All right, so now you are logging in into the actual Azure portal, right? So this is how Microsoft Azure portal will look like. When you log in, this is the way it's gonna look like, right? And let's just go over a various steps over here, right? Just for the overview side. So when you go to the dashboard, this is gonna give you an overall view of all your resources. Whenever you create any Azure resource, you can just click on pin to dashboard, and then it's gonna show you all this information over here, right? So you can monitor all the resources right from one place. Let's click on all resources. So right now, this shows the all the resources that you currently have. As of now, I do not have any resources created in cloud. That's why this just shows as a blank, because we do not have any resources created. Let's go back. Resource group. Remember, what Microsoft does is you are going to create a resource group and attach it any Azure resource to that resource group. For tracking wise, it makes more sense to group all the resources into for a particular project right into the same resource group. For example, if you are developing or deploying a Microsoft website, right, then you need a Server 2016. That's one. You would need SQL Server. That's two databases, or maybe if you are using some kind of a storage, then that's a third thing. So you can just create a resource group for that entire project and put all the Azure resources right over there, right? So that is the benefit of using the resource group, right? That is, and also you can use the resource group with, there are so many other reasons as well, right? To use the resource group. Also helps you to tag your virtual machines, right, or virtual machines with the group so that you know exactly that this VM belongs to this particular resource, right? Also, it allows you to logically group related resources such as storage account, your virtual machine, your virtual network, to deploy, manage, maintain them just as a single entity. So it just in terms of management, it's gonna make things very easier for you, right? You can create as many resource groups as you want, but there are usually like couple of approach when you are designing your environment. Resource group for each application deployment that should combine the storage and everything, right? Storage, subnets, servers, FTPs, load balancers, everything. Also, you can just create a centralized resource group that contains your core virtual networking and subnet or the storage accounts. Your applications are then in their own resources group that only contains the VMs, load balancers, and the network interfaces, right? So this is, you can set up the resource group as well. The app services, right? That is a new concept that that Microsoft Azure has. Now, for example, what app services allows you, right? You can develop the powerful mobile application or any other application for any platform or for any device, right? It allows you to deploy it really, really aggressively faster than all other available approaches right now. Also, in terms of performance, scalability, security, it is just using a single backend, right? So that's what the app services is. Now, let's say you can use Microsoft.NET, you can use AngularJS, you can use Java, you can use PHP, you can use Visual Studio, all these things with the app services, right? You can even develop web apps that has a database in as a backend. You do have an option to develop a mobile apps. You can also develop the API apps. You can also develop the logic apps, right? So there are a lot of things this app services would be helpful to you. Let's talk about a database now. This is about a SQL database. So whenever your application is using a SQL database, you can create a SQL database in cloud. You can set up the replication, you can set up the backup, you can set up the location, you can pick up a particular price tier. You can decide that, hey, my SQL database will have 10 terabytes of data. You can manage all these things right from the console as well as from the PowerShell, right? Microsoft will allow you to perform all these things. Now remember, this database, SQL database, will work with mobile services. It will work with mobile apps. It will work with web application. Whether you design an application in Java or C Sharp, you can still use SQL database with all other things, right? You can even, if your company decides to move to the cloud environment, then what you can do is you can simply uh, just create a database over here in SQL database and create a backup of your own SQL database and do the restore over here so that all your data and everything would be easily moved into this place, right? That's one more benefit of going into cloud. This is about a SQL data warehouse. What it allows you is like you can write the ETL jobs with the SQL data warehouse, right? You can uh, develop and test the cloud solution. That means you can create any ETL job. So you can migrate the data from the existing application or existing source. A source can be a CSV file, a source can be a other database, a source can be an Excel file, a source can be a text file, any other file you can move it into another destination source, right? A destination can also be in any, it can be a database, it can be other sources as well. So this is about SQL data warehouses. So you can migrate it over there as well. Now let's just talk about a NoSQL DB, right? NoSQL DB, it's also a database, right? NoSQL is, it is available with the Microsoft service, right? And it provides a lot of benefits. It supports the automatic replication of your data. It supports the globally it is distributed, so that means your database is available globally, so you can distribute the load globally as well. It is scalable. It means Microsoft claims that it is infinity scalable. That means you can scale the data throughout throughput and store independently and elastically. So you can just start with 1 GB, and as long as whatever data you start storing, it will automatically scale or scale up or scale down, right? It usually it's a tunable consistency model, right? That's what it's supposed, and it is also fully managed with the enterprise grade software SLAs, right? That's another benefit of using NoSQL. There are a lot of companies that uses NoSQL such as Sulekha, Telnor, Citrix, Toyota, LG. These are all the companies that use the NoSQL database right now. Okay, so we will go over that as well. Virtual machine. This shows you have an option to create as many VMs as you want, right? So you can create a server 2012, you can create server 2016, you can create a Linux operating system, whatever you want as a virtual machine. You have an option to create it, right? So if you want to create, just click add, and then it will show you a list of options that you can use for from the compute side. You can create server, Red Hat, Ubuntu, SQL Server, virtual machine scale set, a virtual machine. These are all the popular images that are available, so you don't need to install any software. It's already gonna be configurable for you, right? These are different operating systems that you can use, like Windows Server, Ubuntu, Red Hat, Core Linux, right? So these are all the, and these are some of the solution templates also available for you, right? Such as SharePoint, Cisco, SQL Server, always on cluster, Azure Container Registry, and this is your application infrastructure, right? So you do have a BizTalk, JDK, all this available with you. These are the Linux based solution, these are the Windows based solution, and even with the business applications it is available, right, as a images. So you just spin up a new virtual machine and everything is gonna be configured for you. So that's another benefit of using Microsoft. Just go to the next one. Storage, load balancer. Now just think about it. If you are going to host a website on server 2016, your website is going to get too much load during 12 o'clock 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. So you can set up a load balancer. This load balancer should talk to at least should be able to manage the load. So if you have 4 server 2016, you can just set up a load balancer on top of it. So depending upon the load on a server, it will route the customer's request. So you can manage the load, and whenever we are managing the load, it will help us to make our clients happy as well, because your what will happen, your client will get a response really quick. That just means one thing, that means your responses are quicker, and you will be able to retain all the clients, because nowadays a website performance is a key, right? If your website is not performing well, or it's not giving the expected output within 10 seconds, or like within 5 seconds, 3 seconds, will people will go away from your website and start using some different websites. So that's why it is the best idea to manage your websites, or like even your mobile applications, through the load balancer. And let's talk about the next thing, the storage account. Okay, so as you guys notice, storage account is that is something a Microsoft usually provides, right? You can use it for there are different types of storage account. The first storage account is the general purpose, right? So general purpose storage accounts give you the access for Amazon storage services such as tables, queues, blob, Azure virtual machine disk under a single account, right? And you can just go into a different storage, like a blob storage, queue storage, right? Blob is usually a storage for storing unstructured data with the blob storage, right? Queue storage is mostly like storing queue messages similar to the ActiveMQ, right? So you can just go with the, depending upon your requirement, you can just decide to go with the Azure queue, right? So Azure Queue Storage provides a cloud messaging between the application, right? In designing application for scale, application components are often decoupled so that they can scale independently, right? So the queue storage deliver the asynchronous messaging communication between application components, whether they are running in the cloud or desktop or anywhere. Table storage, that's another type of a storage that is also available under the same storage account, right? It is more like it stores the structured NoSQL data in cloud. It provides you a key and the attributes stored with the schema less design, right? So because the table storage is a schema less, it is very easy to adopt your data as it is required for your application, right? So that's the benefit, and we will learn through all the different concepts, right? I'm just giving you the overview for all the things that are currently available with the storage account, right? But we will go into each and every concepts in detail, right? So this is about the storage account. Go to the Azure Active Directory. So you do have an option to set up your own Active Directory in the Azure. So you can manage all the pretty much it's gonna be your virtual data center, right? If you have your own data center, then you need to have a virtual directory, or like you do need to have an Active Directory, right? Set up over here. That means even if you go to the Microsoft Azure, you can manage everything through the cloud services, right? So that's another benefit for Active Directory. Monitoring is also a very important and a key concept that is with the cloud computing, right? So this allows you to monitor all your resources. You can check all the activity logs, right? You can check all the metrics, right? Whatever cloud resources you create, you can check all the metrics and everything. You can go to the diagnostic logs that shows you all the details about the log file and everything. You do have an option to perform a log search. Alert, right? So let's say if I have a virtual machine that is running at a server that is running server 2016, and all of a sudden the CPU usage went up by 90%. I want to raise the alert. If I don't let the administrator know about it, it may cause my entire data center to go down, right? So that's why it is best to set up all the alerts and everything. Um, then there is something like the auto scale as well, right? So what Microsoft allows, if you have a Linux virtual server and if you know that the load on that server is going up, you can just manage it as the auto scale. So it will automatically scale the server and start processing the load from that particular server, so that you are balancing the load instead of like one server processing, you just balance it out with the auto scale option. Okay.